I'm Mike Williams, and on the Y Factor this week, I'll be looking at that phase in our lives when so much changes. Our bodies, our minds. It's often seen as a turbulent time, but maybe that's just older people like me looking in from the outside. Biological adolescence has always been with us, of course, but the notion of the teenager is a relatively new thing. The word first appeared in print back in 1921, and globalisation has carried it to societies right across the planet. First, here at the Pimlico Academy in London, there's a chance to hear from some of the students.
My name is Hannah and I'm 13.
My name is Emma and I'm 13.
My name is Tarek and I'm 15 years old.
OK, let's start with the stereotypical teenager. The stereotypical teenager is moody, grumpy, lazy, untidy, sleeps until noon at every possible opportunity. The stereotypical teenager sounds like this.
Oh, that is so unfair, I hate you! All right then, I will go to bed, okay? Happy?
Good night, Kevin.
Don't bloody shout at me!
Hannah, is that fair?
No.
Come on. Aren't you sometimes a little bit moody, a little bit tired?
I'm only tired sometimes, like on weekends when I had a hard week. But most of the time, I'm active, I'm not lazy, and I don't complain about anything.
Personally, myself, I'm tired, I'm lazy, I'm frustrated at school and all the hard work I'm given, and I need my rest, I need my peace and quiet, so...
It's been a long time since I was a teenager, and I'm trying to remember what it was like. What's it like being a teenager these days?
About 20 or 30 odd so years ago, they didn't have the technology that they do nowadays. For example, kids nowadays having iPhones, Blackberries, iPads. They didn't have that all these years ago. Kids went outside and played with their friends, and nowadays teenagers are spending more time indoors on the iPads, on the computer, and playing on the Xbox.
Do you feel under pressure at this age?
Sometimes you feel under pressure.
Do you think your parents, as teenagers, felt the same things that you feel?
All teenagers feel the same at some time. They go through that stage, growing up, hitting puberty, and these changes, they happen quite fast. In only a couple of years, a lot can change.
We all know that our brain changes from birth to death. Is there something special going on during those teenage years? What do we know now that we didn't know a few years ago?
What scientists believe is that during the first years of adolescence, you've got quite a substantial increase in the volume of grey matter. Now, teenagers seem to take more risks when their peers are present. And when you realise that a teenage driver is 5 times more likely to have a car accident when one or more of their friends are in the car with them, then that's a very important piece of information.
Of course, teens have slightly different brain characteristics than older people, just as children do.
Dr. Robert Epstein is a psychologist and the author of books on adolescence.
But in no way does that provide any evidence whatsoever to say that the brain causes teens to be irresponsible or incompetent. There are more than 100 cultures around the world in which there is no teen turmoil whatsoever. So that alone tells you that the problems that we see in the US and the UK is entirely a cultural phenomenon. It has to do with the way we raise and treat our teens.
I understand you're saying that you look at brain changes and you cannot therefore say that that's the cause of the behaviour of a teenager. But I don't know why you write it off altogether.
I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else I can be clearer. If somehow developmental changes in the brain cause young people to be incompetent or irresponsible or angry or depressed or suicidal, then we would see this around the world. We don't see it.
But Robert Epstein believes the concept of the troubled and troublesome teenager is exactly that, something modern, something we've created, something to do with the way many societies seem to prolong childhood.
We're delaying the age of entry into adulthood, and we began to isolate teens from adults. We did this with laws requiring schooling and prohibiting young people from working.
So here you have this individual, subject to mood swings, sometimes grumpy, feels misunderstood, often ineloquent, blah, 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 whatever, under pressure, frequently tired, uncertain what the future holds. But that's just me. The teenagers I met, well, they seem fine. They want what we all want.
It's the circle of life. Everyone goes through this stage.